What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and this is Bad Company 2 Conquest on Arica Harbor. Gonna be using that MG3 because if you are a long-time viewer of my channel, you would know I am a big fan of the MG3. And it largely comes down to one thing and one thing only. This gun just sounds so freaking good when you're firing it. Which, unfortunately, you guys probably won't hear too terribly well in this video, but I'm not even lying. You know, I'm just saying this right now. If you have a headset and you play Bad Company 2, this gun just... oh, yeah. It just sounds so good. Every game should have a gun that sounds so good you have to use it just for the sounds. Should be mandatory. Anyways, what I want to talk about today is Bad Company 2 and why it is so fondly remembered and why it's such an enjoyable game. You know, I'm not a guy who's a huge Bad Company 2 fan. I did play the snot out of this game. I do love playing this game, but at the same time, I honestly do not like this game. You know, that sounds really kind of strange to say, but my faults with this game largely comes down to map design, and it's just, quite frankly, I much more enjoyed the Bad Company 1 flavor of Rush, where the maps were much more open, you know. Oasis and Harvest Day here in Bad Company 2, which were Bad Company 1 maps. They're the two best maps in the game, bar none, if you ask me. They're just so much more fun because they're more open. They're still Battlefield, you know, in terms of the large-scale combat, but they're also not, you know, too overwhelming. They're nice and simple, and that's what I enjoy. You know, whereas the Bad Company 2 maps, many of the maps are much more linear and choke pointy, and honestly, I don't enjoy them as much. I know a lot of people do like those types of maps, but I think it says something, though, that, you know, the small maps are always popular in every game. You know, particularly in Battlefield, where you had Karkand, and you know, you have Metro with Battlefield 3, you know, and then, of course, you had your Rush small maps in Bad Company 2. The small maps are always popular, but I think the one thing that makes the Battlefield games stick around longer is the larger maps. You're seeing here in Bad Company 2 on PC, there's a bajillion heavy metal servers that just play nothing but heavy metal all the time. You know, I think that's one of those things that hopefully DICE realizes and, you know, really amps up the larger maps with Battlefield 3, because really the small maps will be popular for a short time period, but I think the larger maps give the game staying power, and I think a lot of people would agree, and this grenade totally is not ever going to backfire on me, totally. But anyways, besides the map design, that's really my main fault with Bad Company 2, and, you know, that's really a minor one. You know, it's just personal preference at that point. But the thing that gets me playing this game and absolutely enjoying it is just how much depth there truly is in this game. You know, this game at face value is really simple. You know, there's a bunch of different guns. You don't have to really worry about attachments or specializations. Just pop on Magnum ammo and, you know, whatever second slot attachment that you need, basically. It's simple. You don't need to worry about weapon sights and all that junk, but at the same time, and I revived that guy, and then he runs back into the building when there's playing that music, you know. You never run into a building when you got that music that says a building's about to fall down. But I guess that guy didn't get the memo. You know, 2 years later, he still hasn't figured that out. Whatever. But, you know, there's so much depth. You know, I think about the engineer class. The other night when I recorded this game, I was running around with the AT-4 pretty much the whole time. Just AT-4 and choppers and everything. You know, it's just a blast to do, you know. But at the same time, that AT-4, it absolutely is garbage against infantry. I could have gone with Carl Gustav and just destroyed infantry and been an RPG guy, you know, and do that. But at the same time, as soon as there's an armor piece coming up, yeah, I'm pretty much screwed. You know, there was that fine balance, that decision of, you know, what do I want to do? And then, of course, you had the RPG, which was balanced, or, you know, you could do it with the mines and just destroy vehicles that way, which, you know, you had to forfeit your RPG. It was a trade-off, basically. You know, with the specializations, you could take a weapon sight, put it on your gun, but at the same time, if you're an engineer, you really don't want to have to do that because you're forfeiting so much more important, you know, specializations, such as more rockets, which is definitely much more important as an engineer. You know, there's just so much trade-off in this game. You know, and then on top of that, where, you know, in Bad Company 2 in its final version as it is now, the weapons are quite possibly the most balanced weapon set I've used in any video game, ever. I truthfully cannot think of a single gun in this game that is not worth using and is not very capable. I mean, when you compare that to, what we're seeing with Battlefield 3, the M16 is the best gun in the game, in that game. I wouldn't say it's like blisteringly overpowered and, needs to be completely destroyed, but it's the best gun in the game. Anything else just quite simply does not stack up as well with it, for a variety of reasons. But, here in Bad Company 2, because of the way that they did the weapon damage system, pretty much everything works well and it can be used. I mean, heck, you want to talk about this gun right here, one of my favorites, actually probably my favorite in Bad Company 2, except for maybe the 1911. This gun would not work at all in Battlefield 3. I mean, in Battlefield 3, this gun would probably be a 3-shot kill at 1,000 RPM. Just do the math, and then you could add in an extendo spray belt for a 200-round belt. It just wouldn't work. And then you add in suppression. It couldn't be done. It would make no sense. But, here in Bad Company 2, it's awesome, good fun. And that's kind of one of those things that I think definitely made Bad Company 2 a better game than what it is at face value. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Bye.